Hello everyone and welcome to Action RPG Build Guide Edition. Today I'm ready to drop on you my new iteration of my Lightning B Raiden Sorcerer. And I gotta say, this iteration is so much stronger and much tankier. As always, we will cover every single facet of this build. Everything is timestamped in the description below if you need to bounce around. Let's not waste any time and jump right into this. Starting off with some gameplay. Now the skills I'm using for this build are Teleport, Elemental Nova, Flame Ward, Arcane Ascendance, and Lightning Blast. And I want to showcase something right at the beginning. Right above my head, you will see my spell's critical strike chance and lightning damage. When I am actually fighting, look at my damage numbers. Lightning damage is now in the high 900s and spell crit chance is over 60%. And that is because this game has a lot of momentum to it. You are actually chaining lightning back to yourself, which is boosting up your stats. And I will explain this when we go through the skills portion of the build. On top of that, check this out. Arcane Ascendance, okay? When you come out of Arcane Ascendance, you are going to be granted haste, and haste can be reset by teleport. So right now we come out, you see haste right here, and teleport will keep you in haste. And teleport has a quicker cooldown, which means as long as you time it correctly, you can maintain haste the entire time. Which obviously makes getting through a run much, much quicker. And I just lost it. Put on Arcane Ascendance. And it's back up.
I cannot do that.
This build is focused on Spark Charge. Very tanky because of Twisted Heart. Is going to generate a lot of ward for us. And we do a ton of damage. I've been streaming this for now probably 2 or 3 weeks. I feel like it's in its final form. I forgot to mention too at the beginning, this is corruption level 201. Corruption level 201. Pretty fast. Let's do another one. And we're off.
I cannot do that.
You die. You all die too.
I cannot do that.
Oh, it's such a fun build to play. Especially if you're a big fan of lightning.
I cannot do that. I cannot do that.
Dead. Let's fight a boss. I like that when you're in Arcane Ascendance, even though you can't move, you can still teleport. Almost done.
Why do you resist?
This
has happened before.
Let me show you how to recreate this build. So now let's check out the skills, and the first skill we're gonna look at is Elemental Nova. Now, when I am going through the skills, I'm gonna path in the way you should take them, okay? So pay attention, because it is important. So for Elemental Nova, you want 1 point into Lightning Nova, 5 points into Spark Charges. This is going to make it where every single time Elemental Nova hits an enemy, it is going to generate a Spark Charge, whether that's through teleport or through you manually casting it. Then you want to stop and go up 2 points into Elemental Expanse and 3 into Charge Destruction. This is going to boost the base crit rate of your Elemental Nova. That's why it basically always crits. Then you come back over here, 5 into Overcharge, 4 into Overload, and then your last 2 points, right now I have 22 points into it, go into Arcane. Arcania. Now, if you had more points, you would put it right here, and if you had less points, you would take these out. Moving on to Teleport. The first node you want to take is Barrier. Then come up to Elemental Affinity. Then put 1 into Elemental Dawn, 1 into Elemental Dusk, and 1 to Elemental Midnight. This is going to make 3 Elemental Novas every single time you teleport. Then you want to come up and put 4 into Comet Rush. This is what's going to give you the increased cooldown and allow you to rebuild your haste after you come out of Arcane Ascendancy. This node is very, very important, okay? Then you want to come down, put 3 into Out of Body. This is going to generate a lot of ward every single time you use teleport. And then you want 1 point into Out of Mind, which is also going to give you additional ward. Moving on to our damage dealer, Lightning Blast. Lightning Blast. Now this one, you know, it's funny, if you go left, up, right, down, every part of this tree is very important, but I'm going to show you the way I would take it. All right, first thing I would do is come down this way, 3 into Storm Razor, 2 into Lightning Attunement, then come up, 4 into Overcharge, 1 into Hypercharge, then right here, 2 into Front Loaded, 3 into Cloud Answer, then come up, 1 into Final Spark, and 5 into Mortal Capacitor. Now, on Lightning Blast, it is also has a Spark Charge chance of 30%, and this is going to be boosted by a certain item you are wearing. And what's so great about this skill is it works in perfect conjunction as Elemental Nova's Spark Charge, because on here, you're going to be getting a 200% damage increase to Spark Charge. On top of that, what this is going to do is detonate Spark Charge, which means if you hit a bunch of enemies with Elemental Nova, and now they all have Spark Charge on them, you can use Lightning Blast to trigger the explosion so that you can continuously put Spark Charges on. Build works with perfect synergy. Now, lastly, on the left-hand side, because this is more end game, this is why I would go this way last, Arcing Power 2, and then 1 into Closed Circuit. Now, this is the node that I showcased at the beginning of gameplay that showed my crit chance and my damage going higher, because Closed Circuit chains to allies, and you are considered an ally, which means when you use Lightning Blast, as long as you are hitting an enemy that is relatively close, it is going to hit the enemy, chain back to you, and then you're going to get a boost in damage and crit chance, okay? But again, if it's like, oh, I'm already in endgame, I'm not doing enough damage, okay, then go left first and grab this node, and then you can go grab all this other stuff, but you need everything on this tree. You need everything on this tree. Moving over to Flame Ward, and for this skill, you want to go right first, 5 into Stalwart Defense, 3 into Desperate Defense, 1 into Astonish, 2 into Fuel the Flames, 1 into Dual Aegis. Now this node right here, cast Flame Ward when stunned. Some people like it, some people hate it. I love it. As long as you don't get one shot, you take that big damage, and then this triggers, which gives you a burst of survivability, and it's, you know, out of sight, out of mind. It's one last thing you have to manage for the build, because basically it is like having it on auto cast, and you could still manually cast it if you want. I like it, your choice. Then you want 5 into Barrier, then come over here, 3 into Dilation, and then any excess points you want to put into Prismatic Buffer, right? Last but not least, Arcane Ascendance. Arcane Ascendance, you want to come down first. 3 into Power Sprint, 1 into Acuity, and 3 into Cunning. This is what's going to give you haste after you come out of it, which works perfectly again with Teleport. Then you want 5 into Higher Plane, 5 into Power Overload, 1 into Unstable Energy. Then come left as your finer points, 1 into Superconductor, 3 into Closed Circuit. Those are the skills. Moving over to the passives for our level 94 Raiden. Starting with the base class, I currently have 39 points into it. I have 8 into Scholar, 8 into Reactive Ward, 5 into Mage Flurry, 10 into Knowledge of Destruction, 3 into Warden, and 3 into Silver Rune. Now, our Reactive Ward normally has a 12-second cooldown. This node is going to turn it into a 6-second cooldown. And this top line, you want all these points into the base class, 16 points at level 80, because this works in perfect synergy with Twisted Heart. Twisted Heart is going to drop your life, which is going to trigger Reactive Ward, which is what's going to keep you alive. So just keep that in mind. These top 16 points you will put in at level 80 with putting on Twisted Heart, okay? Nothing in Spellblade. Moving over to Sorcerer. 5 in Arcane Momentum, 8 into Essence, 5 into Calculated Destruction, 2 into Mana Shell. I have 7 into Wisdom. I'll explain this in a second. 8 into Mancer, 5 into Rift Bolt, 8 into Crackling Precision, 5 into Obliteration, 1 into Arcane Insight, because this 5% is still going to be triggering all the time. You could put a couple more points in if you wanted. 5 into Spell Slinger, 4 into Recollection, 5 into Archmage. Now, what's really important for this build is you have to be over 300 mana. That is the magic number. 300 mana. And for me, I was at like 297 or something. So I needed to put 1 extra point into Wisdom to get over that 300 mark. That's why this is like this. So, you know, for you, if you have gear that might have a tier 6, tier 7 exalted mana drop on it or something like that, then maybe you wouldn't need as many points. I needed to take Scholar. I needed to take Wisdom to get over that 300. So you do have a little bit you could play with here. On top of that, if you don't have any chill chance, if you have no chill chance on the entire build, you need to put a couple of points into Snow here, which is going to give you a chill chance, which really does help you with survivability, okay? Those are the passives. Moving over to everyone's favorite gear, and of course we are going to start with idols. Now, before we look at my gear and idols, just so you know, check out the advanced build planner if you want to see what this would look like at true end game. If you can get anywhere close to that build planner, I mean, you will just walking through this game. Now, the main idol you want to look for is right here. I have only found one, and it is not rolled very well. Increase lightning damage while you have lightning Aegis, and increase lightning damage doubled if you have over 300 mana. Now, if you were able to get 4 fairly decently rolled idols like this, that would be 400% lightning damage from just your idols. 400%. Okay, but you know, you got to find them, and I've only found this one that's not going to give us 400. Okay, but there's some other idols in here. You'll see 30% lightning, 35% lightning, 25% to lightning. So there are some other idols you can find, but this is really the key one you want to try and locate 4 of. All right, moving over to gear. We're going to start with the gear that I think is required for this build. First thing is you need Twisted Heart, and that's what I said. You unlock this at level 80. For survivability wise, this is required. Now, if I didn't have Twisted Heart, I would use Storm Carved Testament, which I believe is also level 75, 80, and then I just wouldn't spec into this passive line right here. And then I would just go all resistances, crit, avoidance, endurance, something along those lines to stay alive. And you actually do a lot of damage if you have a Storm Carved Testament in here, but you lose a lot of survivability. So the way this build is currently set is with Twisted Heart. The other item you need is Fragment of the Enigma. The reason why is because this is going to give each hit a chance to apply Spark Charge. So for this one, my 30% with my Lightning Blast, and now this is going to give an additional 11%. So now I'm at a 41% chance every Lightning Blast to basically create a Spark Charge. And with this, it is also going to give us +2 lightning damage for Spark Charge per intelligence. And right now, unfortunately, I only got 47 intelligence. But if, again, you were min-maxing and you can get that closer to 80, 90, even 100 intelligence, I mean, your build is going to be just, it's going to be crazy. I'll go through each other item that I'm currently wearing. Helmet, Spell Crit, and plus the Lightning Blast. This also gives cooldown recovery speed, which helps me generate or keep my haste with Teleport. Amulet, Lightning, Health, Armor Shred. Armor, Lightning Crit, Intelligence, Life. Weapon, I'm using Claim, and this does have a chill chance and plus Lightning Blast and Leech on it. Ring, Spell Lightning. Belt, Lightning Mana Regen. Ring, Elemental Damage, Lightning Damage. Boots, Movement Speed, Ward, Resistance, Hybrid Health. Gloves, Mana, Intelligence, Endurance. Okay, so as you can see from my gear, obviously it could be a whole lot better. A couple of these are pretty good, but I mean, as always, you can always do better. That is the gear. Moving over to the stats for this Raiden build, like I said, level 94, 47 points into intelligence, 34 into movement speed. But again, if you are good, you can maintain haste the entire run. Our resistances aren't good by any means. For a while, I had 0 poison resistance. Right now, fire's almost maxed, lightning's maxed, necrotic's almost there, and then physical, poison, and void are on their way. But obviously, there's a lot of work I need to do there, but it's pretty easy to stay alive even without maxed resistances because of how much ward we are generating. Armor 32%, ward retention 271. Again, like at the beginning, looking at spell critical strike chance and a lightning damage, this can be boosted big time when you are just in combat. So just remember that looking at your base stats is not what you are truly at. Moving over to defenses, endurance right now is 60% with endurance threshold at 522 and crit strike avoidance at 92. And this, I just need a better rolled blessing and we will get that. And just don't forget to always get a little bit of chill chance on your build. It goes a long ways. Now let's talk about sustain. How do you stay alive and push corruption with this Raiden build? And obviously a lot of this stuff is just going to be reiterating what I've already said throughout the build. Twisted Heart is your main source of sustain with this build. It is going to be pulling your life down by generating a lot of ward for you. And again, on top of that, looking at your base reactive ward, this is going to be being triggered all the time, which is going to keep you in the thousands of ward while you are in the fight. Go back and look at the gameplay in this build and look at my ward. You will see it in the thousands as we are fighting. Now, there are also other ways to get sustain inside of this build. Now, looking at my weapon, on here, I have a 2.1% lightning damage leached as health. So if you do have a weapon, this is an affix that you can put on it. It doesn't have to be a legendary. This is just something you can craft on an exalted piece of gear, or maybe you can get it to drop as an exalted affix. Either way, you can get leech on your weapon. On top of that, you can also get it in your blessings. So right here on the Black Sun, you can get a blessing that is going to give you spell damage leached as health. So you feel like you're having a hard time staying alive, you're having a hard time keeping your life and your ward up, you can take that blessing as well. But with your normal crit avoidance, your normal endurance, your normal resistances, and Twisted Heart generating ward, as long as you have a little bit of spell leech, you're going to be totally fine with survivability with this Raiden build. Last but not least, let's talk about leveling. Aaron, this is great. I like the build. I want to try it, but how do I take it from level 1 all the way to where you are right now? Great question. This is one of the few builds out of the 60 plus I have made that you can start creating it from level 1. You will notice Lightning Blast, Elemental Nova, Flame Ward, and Teleport are all in the base Mage tree. The only thing that you can only get later in the game is Arcane Ascendance. Everything else you can start right at the beginning. So the first skill you want to spec into right here is actually, listen to me for a second, is actually going to be Elemental Nova. This is the first skill you want to spec into, and you want to do exactly what I said. Go here and nab Spark Charge first, and then come up and grab this tree. The second skill you want to spec into is Teleport. And you want to do exactly like I said, come down and then up and grab these 3 nodes. These 3 nodes with Elemental Nova. Honestly, those 2 skills for the most part will get you through the entire campaign. That'll get you through the entire campaign. All right. Then what you want to grab third is Lightning Blast. Okay. You want to come down and grab these 2 and then up and grab these 2. And then the fourth one for survivability you want is Flame Ward. Same thing, I would actually go up right here and snag this and then actually get duration for as you're going through the campaign. But just like I have up top, Elemental Nova first, Teleport second, Lightning Blast third, and Flame Ward fourth, that is exactly how you should level it. This is actually a build that I have made in the past where I've gotten as high as level 60, 65 before I've actually even gone into my mastery, because the base mage class is so strong. That's how you level it. All right, everyone, that's the build guide. What do you think of my new B Raiden Spark Charge build? Is there something I missed? Is there something I can do to push this to the next level? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. 2 asks at the end of the video. Ask number 1, I'm hoping today is the day I have earned your subscription. Hoping today is the day you make the decision to push that little red button. I would really appreciate it, but only if you think I deserve it. And if I don't deserve it, I'm gonna work harder for you. I promise. Ask number 2, check out my Patreon. Thank you to the first 72 members that have signed up. Become an instant ARPG VIP and get Patreon exclusive content at the first link in the description. Now I get asked all the time, Aaron, I appreciate you. What is the best way to support? I need the likes, I need the comments, I need the views, I need the interactions, and all that stuff is obviously free, and I totally appreciate it. If you ever want to take that next step and support financially, even if it's $1 a month, Patreon is the best way, and you get tons of added benefits. You get access to the VIP lounge, so we could chit chat every day. You get a chance to win custom merch. You get access to the bonus hour of the podcast. You get access to the VIP Aaron Action RPG YouTube channel, which is for VIPs only. So many other benefits included added wheel spins at the end of the month. First link in the description, and in the description is over 20 viable build guides for Last Epoch. Icy Veins that I have signed with. They are building right now a new Last Epoch site, and we're going to have a lot of stuff over there as well. The future is bright. That's all I've got. Hopefully you're entertained or at least learned something. Aaron, out.